Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 7 of the ProduceCast, the Produce 48 podcast, now with 50% more produce. This is the first time we're
Needs
actually...
more IOI.
This is the first time we're covering something that's not Produce 48 or Eyes 1, so yeah, this is uncharted territory, guys. Uncharted territory. Yeah, we'll get to IOI one day, whenever they make their reunion. I don't know.
2021.
Yep. So on this, God, we're
I'll
gonna
be graduated from college.
Yeah, that's gonna.
I'm flying to Korea. I don't care.
How old are you gonna be
going to see
by
that.
2021?
2021 will be my 30th birthday.
Oh boy. Anyway, on this episode of ProduceCast, we are going to be covering 101's latest and possibly final comeback. 1 to the 11th power equals 1 power of destiny. And our
Such a
second
dumb name.
Yeah,
worst name
we'll
I've
get to
ever
that.
heard.
We'll get to that. Trust me. And our second topic will be a fun one. It's our dream Produce 48 lineup. So enjoy. Before that, we'll get the housekeeping out of the way. Obviously, if you haven't checked up on any of our prior Produce cast episodes, you're more than welcome to subscribe or just look through our YouTube channel. You'll find the rest of them in the feed. Definitely like the video if you enjoy this kind of content. We definitely need that feedback. Also, if you prefer listening to your podcast as opposed to watching our beautiful faces, you can go check us out on SoundCloud and on iTunes and on Stitcher. Also, you can join our Truly Daebak Discord, which is mucho lit, and there is a Eyes One Friends One channel where you could talk about everything Eyes One. There's also an IOI branch chat, and I feel bad. 101's the only one that we don't have.
It's true.
Yeah, but
Probably
nobody ever
should.
talks about
But
101.
yeah, let's say
In
the only reason
Discord.
we have an IOI one is because of me.
Yeah.
So
And obviously, Produce 48 is the most recent, but hey, well, we can make a 101.
I mean, once we have branch groups, honestly, it'll
Yeah,
probably
we'll have to.
start
We'll have to,
doing
yeah,
just because it's
yeah,
gonna be
exactly.
that's a topic for another day.
If people actually care about them, other than Kong
Oh
Daniels.
no! Don't say that! Don't say that! You're there's wannables watching. Anyway, I should introduce the co-hosts for this evening. First, in the middle, we have the IOI master, the self-proclaimed #1 IOI fan in the world, Nathan Swisher.
So I had really good English lyrics, but then I realized I should save them for next week because they're not really relevant to ProduceCast. So I don't have English lyrics, but I definitely look forward to next week because they're good. That's about it. Oh, I didn't get to go see Day 6, unfortunately.
Oh,
Damn.
sad
Rip.
boy. And on the left, we have the lover of giraffes,
Yes.
Jacob Bird.
Yeah, I love Yi Kwang Soo from Running Man. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm Jacob. # no blow note.
Wrong show.
It's from the Daebak cast, but it's
Anyway.
fine. Go check
It's
that
close
out.
enough.
Go check it out. Yeah.
They're all the same show if you really think about it.
Yeah, if you really
Yeah, I
think
mean,
about
same
it, it's
format,
all the same.
so
Same
we don't
difference.
even think of creative enough names. We just add cast to the end of shit.
it's fine.
And I am Andrew Lee, and your produce fact of the day, which is, I guess, the new thing I'll start doing. Did you know?
Bananas are good for you.
No. Though bananas, I would say, are my favorite. It depends on fruit. It'd be bananas would be like 1A, and then green apples would be also 1B. Because
Green apples are where it's at.
yeah, because if it's not green apples, I don't fuck with it. Otherwise, but
Although I recently had pomegranate for the first time, and I love pomegranate flavored things. But
I'm not big on
I've
pomegranate.
never had it.
that was the
eat
first
the
time I was
seeds?
into it. Yeah, I did.
Anyway, your fact of the
Shout
day
out to
is:
Victoria.
did you know Kang Daniel was a backup dancer for Kao Lu? Kao Lu did it was part of like a variety show or something, or a music show or something. She was doing a cover of Invitation by Jung-hwa, and one of the backup dancers was Kang Daniel, but you couldn't really tell it was him because he was wearing like a face mask, like he was supposed to be like a ninja or something like that. But yeah, she was just, I remember there was an article where she was like, oh, I'm rooting for him on Produce 101 or whatever, because he was the backup dancer and everything. So yeah, from humble beginnings. All right, housekeeping's out of the way, we can get into the album review of 101's first full album / final full album / final release ever.
Is this their first one?
Yeah, they've never done. Everything else has been like
I don't know. I
EP
guess I shouldn't question it because I never got a full album.
Yeah, at least be happy they're getting a full album. Entitled 1 to the 11th power equals 1 (parentheses Power of Destiny). Nate, take it away.
I can see on Nate's face he's just salty that I didn't get it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The instant I said that and realized it, I was just upset. So, sorry about that. So first of all, this name of this album is dumb, but all the names of all their albums are dumb. I like how they have to qualify, like, they have to put, like, an actual name because the stupid equations are just dumb. Like, all of the albums have, like, parentheses of name of the actual album.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start out with Destiny, which is the intro.
It's a cover.
It's decent.
It's a cover of the video game.
It's a cover of the video game. It's a cover of the
SNSD song from G.
SNSD song, Lovely song. I think that's a Lovely single. I liked it. I like the chiptune synth parts. The mixing seemed off though for me. I don't know, like something, just like the level seemed off, if that makes sense.
I mean,
I don't
normally
really know how to put it.
Normally it'd bother me, but I mean, it's future based, so I'm just like, yes, bring up all the instrumentals, make it as loud as possible. Yeah, I'd say other than that, I'd say this just goes down in the list of intro songs that should be full songs. Like, it's a growing list at this point, honestly. There's just way too many at this point, because, yeah, I really love this song.
Okay, so for
side
me...
note.
Oh, okay.
Oh, side note, I was literally, like, looking through my songs today, and I was like, I should just make a playlist of intro songs, because I was looking at the list of, like, of song names, and then I just got to the eyes, and it was just, like, intro. I was like, I should just make a playlist of these, because these are all great.
That's a theoretical Daebak Topic. Top 10 K-pop.
Oh yeah, we should rank album intros.
This would probably be up there. I really love this. I really love the drop in this though. So that's why it totally deserves of being a full song, honestly.
So for me, I was kind of on the other end. I really liked the verses and everything that led up, but I wasn't a huge fan of the drop because it was kind of, for me, a little leaning into the Chainsmokers territory, which kind of comes off as a little generic
Those
for me.
Damn Chainsmokers, and
I can't deal with it. I can't deal with that. Like, that's all I can think about.
It'll never end.
I do still agree that I'd like to hear it as a full song, as long as they don't like rely on the drop too much as being the chorus or something. That would be cool. Like if they do it once as maybe as like a bridge or something like that, I'd be fine with it. I could deal with it, but
it would be the chorus if they did.
It'd be the chorus because that's kind of like the build up. The build up otherwise would just it'd kind of have no point.
Next we have Spring Breeze, which is the title track. So for me, I like the synths during the chorus a lot. And I think it's good vocal showcase. But the pre-chorus part where the beat goes away, it's like really abrupt sounding, and like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel
choreo's great as always. And the music video is pretty disappointing. It's just a bunch of green screen. Like it's really bad.
It's a glorified box MV. It really is if you think about it. It's just a glorified box MV. I guess just to sort of take up on that point. If it was a more interesting music video, I would have definitely enjoyed it more. And also, I'd say the other like complaint I have, it's just like 90% of the music video is, oh my god, look at 101, they're doing cute things together, instead of showcasing the really awesome choreography that they actually had. Like you probably only get about like 30 seconds of choreography in the long run of it, which is a shame because 101 always has great choreography. So if anything, they should be playing to that strength. As for the actual song, it felt weird for the longest time until I sort of like nailed down what was making it sound weird to me. It was, or just feel like not off or just like familiar. I was just like, yo, this sounds like Spring Day by BTS. If you really think about it, it's kind of like
Spring Day, Spring Breeze.
Yeah, I'm just like, is that like intentional? Because it's very similar in that sort of like, it has a similar vibe to Spring Day, just maybe with a bit more just weird like synth tracks instead of just like the, I guess more like like barren acoustic nature of it. I do like that they are trying to, or I do like the balance because obviously earlier in the year we got Boomerang, which I hated, and we got Light, which I loved. So it's like they had like two really hype tracks, and then I like the contrast between, or as singles prior, I like the contrast of having this be a more ballad track a la Beautiful, which I think was definitely a sort of motif that they went to in this. And obviously I like their, anytime that like the members like Jaewon or Ong or Ha Sung-woon just get to showcase their voices like that, it's always a plus. I'd have to say, yeah, I do enjoy it a lot. But yeah, that one part where like that pre-chorus where it's just kind of like empty, it could have done without it, honestly. It's like one of those cases where kind of like a Priston like we like, where you just make a cut or whatever and just it sounds better. That being said, I still do enjoy the song overall. The vocals are incredible, especially during the chorus. It's super catchy, just been stuck in my head. Like, and if you look at the lyrics, this basically is their downpour. Just like it's just like all the stuff about like, oh, we'll meet together again like later and all that sort of stuff. And I love the one thing I really did like about just sort of the teasers, and they incorporated into the MV, is there's a cassette tape that they have, and the way it's wound, it's sort of like an infinity symbol. So it's again like sort of like it's not the end of 101 ultimately, and also just it's a motif that they keep going back to in between this and the last track, which is part 2 of Beautiful, but we'll get there. So yeah, I do appreciate the symbolism that they have in this track just in general. So yeah, overall I did like the song.
So for me,
101 is time traveling infinite.
So I did actually enjoy the song. Like, it's good, but for some reason I felt a little bit like underwhelmed, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, and it doesn't mean I didn't like it. It was just like a feeling I got, kind of thing. Like I liked all the instrumentals. I really like how it was mixed, like the volume of the vocals versus the instrumentals, especially in the chorus. I think like it sort of like opens it up quite well. But again, like I don't know, I didn't feel that much from it, I guess. I felt like I was supposed to, if that makes sense. Though maybe it's just because I never got too much into 101 or something, but because I did like the song. It was kind of just weird.
I don't know.
Feeling I can't really place my finger on, I guess.
I think just a lot of our, because if you go back to before ProduceCast even existed, when we just did like 101's debut mini as a review, like you could tell how over the moon we were with Energetic, and as we've said like constantly, it's just like it's all downhill from here. It's just nigh impossible for anything to outdo Energetic at this point. So it's just our expectations are definitely in a different place, just because of, I don't know, just because it's coming after that. So that could explain it. Maybe
it was the opposite of IOI's trajectory, which just kept going up.
Yeah, it started from the bottom.
Reverse trajectory.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. I'm kind of like the same feeling. It's hard to put it, but yeah, it's just like it was kind of underwhelming. Yeah, especially for their last song. You'd hope they'd be able to
I was just hoping
something.
They'd completely just blow the roof off of me.
Exactly.
Like it's their last album.
Jacob has a roof on him.
Yeah, whatever.
The roof off of me.
You know what I mean.
Okay, let's move on. Next is One's Place. I like the use of strings throughout this song, especially during the build up to the drop. The other thing I liked about it was the during the rap verse they do double time, and I thought that was interesting. Like, it definitely made the song pick up. I enjoyed it.
This is one of 2 songs produced by E1 off of this album. E1 has known for doing Secret by Would You Sonyo, I Feel You by Wonder Girls, and Lucky by EXO, so a lot of pedigree here. With that being said, I did like the instrumental a lot, but I feel like where this song kind of let me down was, I don't know, the chorus was just kind of a letdown. It's basically, the chorus was just kind of like an opposite of Destiny, where like the verses are really hype, but or the verses are okay, but like the chorus just feels super like generic and uninspired. And it doesn't ruin the song entirely, but I feel like they could have written something a bit more interesting melody wise, considering how many good singers there are in 101. I feel like they could be a bit more adventurous with how they write the melodies for the song. And yeah, the future bass even couldn't like complete the song for me, unfortunately. But yeah, that'd probably be like the only major gripe I'd have with it. Just the chorus kind of just with it doesn't necessarily like build to a resolution ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Am I second or is Nate second? I don't remember.
No, you're third. I already went. I started.
Oh, you already went. Okay. Okay.
I'm reading.
Welcome
the song
to the
names.
ProduceCast. Okay. Anyways, so I'm again like kind of like flipped on Andrew. Like I actually really really like this song. I thought it turned out pretty well. I like this one a lot more than Spring Breeze. Although I will agree with the fact that I think the instrumentals definitely carried this song. Because that was like one of my main notes was I really really loved the instrumentals. So I think it kind of makes up for any weaknesses elsewhere.
Yeah.
Next we have Flower Bomb. For this I liked the synths a lot. Especially the one thing that I noticed was like there's a super subtle like higher pitched synth in the background. That I thought like fit really well. But yeah, overall it was pretty decent.
This was Ha Sung-woon helped produce and write this, which is pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of them got production credits on this last release. It was produced alongside ORO and Vendors. I haven't heard of them in particular, but just wanted to mention that since I was mentioning Ha Sung-woon. A lot more future R&B style. Like if this was gonna remind me of a particular group, if anything, it's kind of reminding me of like what like either 17 or GOT7 have been messing around with lately. Like there is definitely that style of future R&B, which definitely made me enjoy this song. And again, it fits well with the balance of rappers and singers that they have in 101. So yeah, this was definitely one of the standout tracks for me. Like again, and it didn't have the problem that One's Place had, where I felt like the chorus just kind of killed the song. I feel like the chorus definitely made this song, if anything.
So for me, right off the bat, like again, I love when they do like subtle things with the sound. Like in the beginning, I love the sort of like fireworks sounds almost in the background. They were kind of subtle. So I feel like again, this is kind of being carried by the instrumental, and that everything else is kind of lagging behind a little bit for me. So I think this one suffered from it a little more than One's Place for me. However, I do think the chorus was high impact enough that again it makes up for it. It's just like little like tiny things that kind of felt off, I guess. But yeah, I think with this song in particular, I think it could be better like if I just listen to it more times.
Yeah,
because I think it's me like when I'm listening to music, I'm expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen. I'm like, what?
Like subversion of expectations. But
yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think to some degree, like some of these songs, like the first few songs, definitely like. Though I did enjoy a lot of them, there are some parts where it's like nothing's perfect. Ultimately, like there's just like tiny little like sort of shortcomings either in production or just vocal melody or just not making it as interesting as it could have been. Because yeah, I'd say just in general the production is probably one of the strong points in this. Like they're not like they know. God, who are they technically under then? So they're technically under Stone
Music,
or yeah,
I think.
Yeah, so
yeah, they're
like on iTunes at least it says Swing Entertainment, Stone Music Entertainment.
Yeah,
so
Swing, Stone, like they're not gonna half-ass a comeback with how popular they are, and obviously they're definitely giving them a great pool of production talent, definitely. So yeah, just gotta fix minor things ultimately.
Yeah. Next we have One Love. For me, like the rap part that opens the song I thought was really good. And the post-chorus instrumentals I thought were really good. But the drop was like really just meh.
Yep.
Like that's literally exactly what I was like. The drop was pretty meh.
I'll say it for you, Jacob. I'll say it for you. It was very
Yep.
Chainsmokers.
Do you wanna see my notes? Because it literally says that.
It's very.
Yeah.
It literally says it's very Chainsmokers.
No, I said it's too Chainsmokery. I made a new
too
adjective.
That's a term
Chainsmokery.
now. It's Chainsmokery.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, yeah. I'd say normally
Yeah,
I
go
wouldn't
on.
mind it. Normally I wouldn't mind it. It's just I'd say it it retreaded too much of the territory that they kind of covered already in Spring Breeze, except just kind of that's another thing that there's some songs on here that sort of just like felt like, okay, you kind of already did this style, so it kind of just seems unnecessary to pad out like the 10, 11, 12 albums or 11 tracks on here. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually mind Chainsmoker drops either, but yeah, it just wasn't.
For me, it's just like I listened to Closer one too many times, and it makes me want to die every time it comes on. Now.
It's just like you went into like Walmart or whatever one too many times. Just like, God damn it, they're playing Closer again.
Or like I'd be driving to work, and that's all they play on the radio like 5 times in a row.
Oh no.
Just bad.
Yeah.
In my car,
I'd say-
like back then, I didn't have an aux cable, so I had to listen to the radio.
Oh no, I can't. Like the second I got a car, like the first thing I did was I'd burn CDs just so I wouldn't have to get freaking. I wouldn't have to
should've
listen
done.
to the radio.
That was before Jacob's time.
What are you talking about? I used to burn CTs all the time.
Not, but in a car, well, for driving.
For driving
I mean,
mixes.
Yeah,
By the time you started driving, you
probably had
not-
aux cables or the
for me
Bluetooth
driving,
ones.
but for like,
Yeah,
say we had to
exactly.
go on a trip or something, I'd be like, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna play the CD,"
Anyway.
Okay.
or listen to it on my CD player.
Do you have any other comments, Jacob? Other than it's too
Yeah.
Chainsmoker?
So like, I really, really, really like the rap. I thought that was awesome. It's like some of their best, in my opinion. It had a catchy hook, but again, too Chainsmokery on the drop. Like it kind of soiled it a little bit for me.
Soiled it.
Soiled it.
Rest in peace, Steven Hillenberg.
Okay, the next song makes up for it for me.
Really?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So next is Deeper. And really, like, honestly, my notes for this track are, I'm gonna read my
We're
notes
all over the
verbatim.
place for this review.
Well, it's not even, it has nothing to do with this song,
Oh,
but it was at the point at this point that I just started to get bored because, like, I've had enough mellow synth-based guy group dance tracks, because that's literally this whole album so far.
I mean, granted,
Was
if
just
you really
that
think
type
about
of
it,
song.
that's kind of the boy group landscape now. If you really think
know.
hard enough about it, just like everyone that's come out post 2015, like this is their style ultimately.
Well,
So
and that's why I gravitate towards like
Girl groups.
Stray Kids and Monsta X,
Or,
because
yeah.
they do like
Hype.
for guy group stuff, because they do like different stuff. But yeah, so like it has nothing to do with this song, but I think at like this point of the album I was just getting bored, and luckily the rest of the songs like made up for it, because they did stuff a little different.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was just like, not another one. When I heard this song,
this one's better than the other ones.
that's all I could think about
I
though.
could
Like,
I can honestly say I probably enjoyed Deeper more than I did Spring Breeze. Like you could make an argument
Yeah,
that this could have
easily,
been
for me.
this could have been the title track, just mostly because what really puts this over the top for me is just the amount of emotion and just the intensity that they have in the chorus. Like again, you have incredible singers in like Jaewon and like Ong, Sungwoo, like they utilize it to their full potential here, like just like the deeper, just like there's just so much this is how you do an emotional ballad track, honestly. Like I was just like, okay, I get this song almost immediately. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It could have easily been the title track instead of Spring Breeze.
Yeah,
I think
so. So honestly, like 100%, this should have been the title track for me. Like I was listening to it, I was like, okay, this is good so far. As when the chorus hit, with the beat and everything in the background, like how big it sounded with the like sort of like reverb almost in the vocals, it like sounded really big. And again, I've been talking about this for the past few weeks, but high impact, yes, that's what I'm looking for.
And maybe to steal some of your sort of synesthesia kind of stuff. They do a good job of setting like making the soundscape very echoey to sort of like it's like you kind of imagine it's like, oh shit, you're in the middle of the ocean and there's like a lot of water and nothingness and just like you're basically that type of generic like MV sort of thing. That's what the MV would have been if they were gonna make it. Yeah, so something like that along those lines.
For me, it's almost like more like they're inside of like a really giant cave.
You've just been playing too much Pokemon.
Oh yeah, the rock tunnel scarred me for life.
Escape rope.
Wasn't that bad.
It's so boring though. It all looks the same.
No, I don't know. I think Silph Code's the most boring. It's so long.
Yep.
If you actually go through and fight everything, but
I
I guess maybe I should go back and listen to the song just on its own, because I think like listening to the album by this point, I was just done with it, so I probably didn't give it a fair shake. Next we have Hide and Seek. So this is a piano ballad. It's nothing like literally I said, like it's nothing special, but it did help break my boredom. Since it was a little different, it wasn't like a synth-based dance track, like mellow synth-based dance track. It was a mellow piano ballad. But no, so I probably liked it a little bit more because it was different. But it wasn't like it didn't blow me away or anything.
Yeah, I'd probably say that for a lot of the ballads, just because, again, it feels like a lot of them just end up retreading the same sort of ground. I felt like they should have just stuck to one or made one solid like ballad and then just like gone with that. I know they're trying to fill out the track list for a full album, but I feel like, again, if they could have like cut some of the tracks down a bit that sort of felt repetitive, it could have made the album a bit more like concise or just less bloated in that sort of way.
Okay, so for me, I thought that the like the vocals were definitely the strength here, and it's a little on the simple side, but I still think it works well enough, and it honestly, like, it reminds me quite a lot of like Big Bang, like ballads, that kind of thing.
Basically,
so I think that's sort of the template they're going off of.
Next we have Awake. For this I liked the funk like touch to the typical like synth-based dance track. It's definitely got a bit of funk in there. Also the rap part is really, really good, with the chip tunes like synths backing it. I wish it was longer. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, this is another one that I could have. I would make an argument for being a single, honestly, because. And this is the E1 song I actually do like on this album. Well, again, both production and vocals wise, mostly just because, again, I've made it known that I'm a big fan of like EXO, and it has tinges of EXO and Shiny, mostly just because of those harmonized like processed vocal sections, like the oh yeah, like that part, just awesome. And then the chorus goes into that future funk that E1 seems to really like on this album. I really like there's like really cool like like synth arpeggios that like the sort of like chiptunes that Nate said, which I really love. Like any type of arpeggio like that just sort of really brings a nice flavor to the track. The rapping really solid as well. This is probably one of the most interesting or just the most unique songs that I've heard on a one-on-one album, just production-wise, in like, let alone just the vocals. Honestly, it's just a really unique song that I'm glad that they added on. It definitely helped break up the sort of monotony or sort of repetitiveness that we were kind of getting into with some similar style tracks. I wish there was more of this style, honestly, because I feel like if they sort of explored this angle as a single, I think it could have worked well with. You could probably do really good choreography to this as well, honestly.
Yeah, so particularly my favorite part in this song is in the pre-chorus as it starts to fill up towards the chorus, and then the chorus it kind of like drops, which again, as Andrew said, like the beat in there was like really interesting and had a lot of different like variation stuff like that I liked. And this song once again actually had like an effective hook, so yeah, that I definitely liked as well. This is the other song that I circled as like being my favorite. It's between Awake and Deeper.
Yeah.
Next we have 12th Star. So this is a CD only track. And this is like pretty clearly meant to be their like goodbye song. Also, I don't know why it's weird that it's not the last song. Usually, like CD only tracks the last song.
I think they kind of they kind of did it for like because it's Beautiful Part 2, so kind of why. But it's weird that they just
that to be the last song.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they just stuck it like right in between for no reason.
But yeah, this is pretty clearly meant to be one of their goodbye songs. So they performed it on their showcase. It's a good piano line. Vocals are obviously good. That's no downpour, but that's probably my bias speaking.
that is your IOI bias, definitely. But even on my end, yeah, it's good. But again, I feel like it just juxtaposed with the other ballads on this album. It just kind of just loses its impact to some degree. Obviously, yeah, the vocals and everything are solid. It's 101, but yeah, I felt like if anything, like I got more of an impact of this is a goodbye song from Spring Breeze, and again like the ending track, which is Beautiful Part 2.
Yep. Yeah, so I thought it was good. It was a good ballad. The vocals came out well. I think for me, just the whole like concept of a goodbye track is just kind of like getting old to me, I guess. Like after seeing all of I guess a lot of my favorite groups kind of go out with just like this kind of song, just like, all right, here's the last thing, we're gone now, so you can have this, but not like what we normally would make kind of thing. I don't know. That being said, I thought it was a good ballad, but it's just like I just don't like the concept of that being almost like a genre now at this point.
Yeah, the goodbye song really is its own genre, or like its own like trope at this point.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense for these like project groups.
Yeah. For 101 and IOI, I think it makes sense, definitely. I think it's just just because I'm
with like Wonder Girls getting
over
one
it now. Yeah, like that's all they
like
got.
A ballady, and to anyone. And so it's just like
just the emotional impact's kind of lost just because we've seen a lot of goodbye tracks from other groups as well,
and none of them have been as good as Downpour.
We'll get to that.
Next is Pine Tree, which is a cover of the girl group.
There's a girl group named Pine Tree.
There's a girl called Pine Tree.
Come on, guys. I was hoping Jacob would get that one.
I don't even remember that. I don't know one named Pine Tree.
Pine Tree is Sunamu.
Oh yeah, we literally just talked about this yesterday in the Discord.
So. Did you really?
That might have been today, actually. It was today or last night. I don't remember. Really? Yeah, I was like, what does Sonamu even mean? When I first heard it, I thought it was ripping off Mamamoo because they had just been starting to pick up steam.
No, yeah, I knew Sonamu was Pine Tree from the beginning. So
what language is that? Is that Korean?
Yeah, that's a Korean word for pine tree.
Wow.
Why would they use a different language?
I don't know. Why is there a song called Me Gustas too?
Yeah.
That's true. Good point. But no, yeah, Sonamu is Korean for Pine Tree. Okay. So this is a cover of the girl group. No, 101 fact number 2 or whatever. But yeah, this is like the sentimental guy group song. I think it fits well for like a final track because it's not a ballad per se. But it's still it's that sentimental style. I really like the piano part after the first chorus, that like with the rap leading into the singing, like that part easily stood out to me. This is probably one of my favorites, with Awake, actually.
Yeah, I think they should have expanded on that piano section, honestly, more. It probably would have made like for a better track. But yeah, of the ballad tracks, I'd probably say this is my favorite of them, and I think it would have served as a better goodbye track than 12th Star did, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It just I just resonated with it more, honestly.
I think this one was way better than 12th Star. So like right off the bat, it kind of sounds almost like a Christmas song to me. I don't know what gets off that vibe. It could be the piano in the beginning. It could be replaced with bells, and it would still work. Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel that though.
Yeah, on it overall, I thought it was a really good ballad, and I think they showcased their vocals like really, really well here.
Yep. And finally, we have Beautiful Part 2. So this is their other goodbye song. It's a ballad, obviously. But yeah, I thought this is a really good use of piano and strings. I thought it was a good way to end the album. obviously it makes sense doing a part 2 to one of their
most popular
singles. Yeah, one of the most popular songs. One of their better singles.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It probably, if I were to like rank Iowa, Jesus Christ, Iowa. If I were to rank 101 singles,
very.
No, we're not. We're saying that's a topic. That's a topic where you're wasting our podcast. It'd probably be energetic, light, beautiful, then Boomerang. Or no, I'd probably put Spring Breeze, then Boomerang.
I was gonna say Boomerang's easily worst.
Yeah, Boomerang's like at the bottom, but yeah, pretty much everything else except Boomerang was okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool that it's very fitting of all the songs to make beautiful sort of like the ending track, which is why I think it's okay that they ended up putting 12 Star like in the 9th spot and putting this as the end, because it's like a nice epilogue to the I guess the 101 discography in a way. Really nice touch that I liked at the beginning of this is, again, they bring that the cassette tape sort of sound that they like loading the cassette tape in. Again, it ties the motif together with like the infinity symbol and the teasers that they had. I love how, again, it wasn't just them doing like another verse over beautiful and just like a different lyrics or whatever. They really did they changed up the instrumentals. This is a lot more this is definitely a lot more ballady. It's just like a lot more like laid back in comparison to the actual or to the main version of Beautiful. Obviously the lyrics are really emotional as well, and I love how they adapt that to sort of like fit like the goodbye sort of theme. So yeah, again, this definitely was. I feel like this is a song that they should have performed live as well, or just to see. I'd love to see them perform Beautiful Part 1 into Part 2. Like that's what I don't know, like, because we were
like a 10-minute song, like kind of thing.
Yeah, like Paramore had had something like that where they made years later they made a sequel to like one of their old songs, and at concerts they do like a tiny intermission and go into that. So yeah, you could do really cool stuff with live performances that sort of way, or just incorporate this, maybe like one of the verses of Part 2 into like and mix it, or like kind of like do like Produce 48 where they did like Korean Japanese, just sort of like mix the lyrics between both songs, which would have been a cool performance as well. All right, Jacob, close us out.
Yeah, so honestly, I like this better than Beautiful Part 1, to be honest. I think they made a really, really good use of silence throughout the song. And again, like everything is more like understated, and then when it picks up, it really like picks up and fills up and lifts up. I guess it feels lighter, so to speak. Vocals are really nice, and yeah, I thought this was effective. I thought it did really well, and is a good way to close out the album.
Yep, and close out 101 ultimately. All right, so with that being said, we are going to get into our review scores. For those that haven't joined us before, we do a review scale out of 10 with a maximum of 6 for the music, a maximum of 3 for concept, and a maximum of 1 for bias, or which originally was intended to just sort of be a free point, and it just sort of turned into, do we like this group? Yes. So we always just give it at this point. It essentially is a free square. So Nate, start us off.
So for me, I did 5 out of 6 for music. Like I said, I started getting bored like in the middle. But overall, I think the tracks were pretty good. I gave it a 2 for concept. It was close between a 1 and a 2 for how bad the music video is, but the choreo is really good. So I gave them a 2 overall. Also, I didn't think it was. I think it deserved the point, and then I gave it a bias point because I think it's I wouldn't say they're a favorite group of mine, but I think it's an 8, not a 7. But it's pretty close for me. Like I could see myself giving it a 7.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat where it was a borderline 7, 8 sort of situation, but again, I still felt it was an 8. For the music, I'd say like if they maybe cut it down, because what I did like, I really did like. So I don't think like the music's all bad. But yeah, I'd say if they maybe cut it down by like 1 or 2 tracks, I would have enjoyed it more, just because again it kind of felt like a bit repetitive. yeah, again, I'd say despite how much I really hated the visual aspect or just like the lack of focus on choreography, I think the choreography, what they did show, ended up saving the concept score. So it does get a 2 out of 1. And obviously, I've been since day one. I mean, granted, it's kind of hard to keep track of one-on-one with all the groups that we cover, but I mean, they're still my boys. I mean, even if it wasn't my perfect lineup, I still had to be there for them. So they're obviously going to get the bias point. So it definitely feels like it's an 8 out of 8.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for me, I actually originally did give it a 7, but I don't know. As I was listening to it while I was reviewing, I was like, I think I was a little too harsh on some of the songs. So I ended up bumping up my music score to 5 out of 6 rather than 4. I did 2 out of 3 for concept because, again, the MV wasn't anything special. And nothing's bad, so I don't think it deserves a 1 out of 3. Also because I think it's an 8, not a 7. And 1 out of 1 because I do generally like 101, like especially because they came out with Energetic, so I have to. So, like that's honestly probably one of my favorite K-pop songs, Energetic. Like,
oh no, you can make an argument that Energetic is probably one of the best, like top 10 K-pop songs of the past, like of the 2010s. Honestly, you can make a strong argument for that.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Like, but. Yeah, 8 out of 10 basically.
Yeah, so it gets a straight
8 out of 10 overall.
Straight 8. No shiny, but I'd still would recommend it, obviously. And again,
Probably
if you're a big if you're a big 101 fan, obviously you're gonna support them. So yeah, I mean,
throbbingly Daebak albums or something else. Jacob.
Yeah,
we'll get to throbbingly 8 out of 10.
Because it's all 8. Yeah.
Okay, maybe, but so yeah, that'll close out the Produce section of this show. Though I would like to say, sometime later in the year, before the end of the year, we're probably gonna do a like 101. I don't know what to call it. Like I don't know, just like a 101 like retrospective or like I don't know, like an after action report or something like that. Just something like once the group officially disbands, I feel like it'd be nice to just sort of give take a look look back on their short like I don't know like 1.5 year sort of existence and like say what we liked, what we didn't like. So
still twice as long as IY.
Hopefully by then we see what groups are going to be formed out of the members.
Yeah,
that are in there
hopefully
as well,
we'll see.
so.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing we can sort of factor into, just like predictions of how we'll think the branch groups will do and everything. So yeah, we'll keep on the lookout for that. Especially if you're a Wannable, we'll definitely do. They deserve it, definitely just a retrospective or just like a look back at 101. All right, now for a change of pace or just switching gears, we are going to go to our second and final topic of the ProduceCast, which is a Produce 48 related topic. So it kind of started off in our Discord. Again, join our Discord, the Truly Daebak Discord. It is mutual lit. We were kind of talking about like our ideal groups or just maybe or what our ideal Produce 48 group would be outside of, or I made the caveat like outside of everyone or outside of people that made Eyes One, just to make it a bit more interesting instead of just like stacking it with Eyes One members. So that's what we did. We made a 12-member group out of anyone that didn't make the final 12 groups, and then we made a smaller like subunit or like side group which was mainly focused on like vocalists. So think like a Mamamoo or like that kind of group. So yeah, it was pretty fun, and you're definitely welcome to do your own, make your own ideal or dream Produce 48 groups in the comments below. So, Nate, you can start us off again.
Yep. So my lineup was as follows, and the order of this is just the order that they ended the show at, like their ranking. So it's not like particularly my favorite order or anything. Number 1 is Hancho Wan. Number 2 is Igan. Number 3 is Miyazaki Miho. Number 4 is Takahashi Juri. Number 5 is Takeuchi Miyu. Number 6 is Park Hae-yoon. Number 7 is Shiroma Miru. Number 8 is Murase Sai. Number 9 is Ha Yun-jin. Number 10 is Wang Yurin. Number 11 is Lee Xian. And number 12 is Go Yujin. So for this, like, Choan was pretty obvious for me. Like, she she like really showed her vocals off throughout the show and had a chance to make it into the final group, but didn't. And I thought I don't think if I had to make my lineup with people who made it into Produce 48, she wouldn't be in it, or made it into Eyes One. But I think she did deserve it. And then Egon obviously should have made it. That was a horrible tragedy.
Like I said, it's not called getting Jungyeon anymore. It's getting Khan.
Yeah, for real. It's like even worse in my opinion.
Yeah, seriously,
Yeah,
it's way worse because remember, like, what's his name? What's his stage name again? Because I just know his like real name is I think he actually goes by JR from the US. Yeah.
Yeah, JR.
So yeah, Jungin. I just call him like Jungin. He wasn't always in top 12, whereas Khan was always in top 12.
Yep.
Like there was never there was never a time where she was not in that top 12. So for her to drop out like this was just insane.
Yep. And then like I thought like Miho, Juri, and Miru were all like good enough to make it. Obviously like all the Japanese members kind of just got dropped out at the end, which we talked about in length in the ProduceCast, so I don't really need to elaborate too much more into that, but I think they all could have been in the group. So I have them on my list. And then obviously Miyu was my number one Japanese trainee, so I really wanted her to make it, and she didn't, so she's on this list for obvious reasons. Park Hae-yoon, I thought she was a great vocalist, so I think she would do well as well. Same with like Yoonjin and Murase Sae. Sae was more like, I think Sae is probably like the prettiest Japanese trainee, so I think like I put her more in for visuals. But I mean, that's just personal.
She was a good dancer too. I mean, remember she was in Rumor.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
You couldn't half-ass that choreography.
Well, that was the thing. Like she had really good stage presence, I thought, for the songs
definitely.
that she did.
Yeah, that's
especially
one of my
near
thoughts
the
about her
end
as well.
Yeah, and that's a big near the end. That's a big thing for, again, like the biggest misconception is like, oh, all of the 48 group members are objectively worse or less talented than but no, again, in terms of stage presence, obviously you're not going to, dancing in front of a mirror isn't going to get you the same sort of experience that performing every week in your theater does. So again, like it wasn't a surprise to me that we'd get somebody with as good stage presence as Murase Sae did.
Yep. Ha Yoon-jin, Jacob obviously like get mad at me if I didn't.
Yeah,
put her on
honestly,
this list,
Jacob would kill us if we didn't didn't put Kirin-chan.
Dude,
no,
honestly,
but I thought
she has to be in the group.
I thought she did a really good job and she would have fit well as well. I'm interested to see what her and Kan do. Wang Yiren, I think, was another good, like, more visual stage presence member. Ishian also impressed me, like, in the later stages, with her like dancing skills and stage presence skills. And then Go Eugene obviously killed it until she got
13th member of Luna.
She's the 13th Luna girl.
Killed it until she got kicked off before she could perform Rumor,
which is bullshit.
But there's nothing we could do about it. So yeah, that's my group. Obviously I think like out of my, if we included ISO members, there'd probably be about like 8 of them in this list. But yeah, out of the people that didn't make it, I think this is who I would put in. And then for my vocal, like, I don't know what we're calling, like IBI, JBJ type group.
Or you could be, in your case, it's pretty much almost a subunit because you have 3 members that made your main group essentially, and then not go on.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought for vocal group, like Hancho-on, Takeuchi Miyu, Park Hae-yoon were all really, really good vocalists that didn't make it. And then also Nagon really showed her skills off near the end. So she was memorable to me as someone who, yeah, I wouldn't put her in my main group, but I think she would have definitely made a vocal group.
All right. Next we've got Jacob's list, so go for it.
Yep. All right, so first off, we have Econ, which, like, for me, she was easily in my top 5, like, throughout the entire thing. Like, I was rooting for her, like, consistently to get into the group, and I was honestly, like, kind of, like, extremely shocked when she wasn't in the final group, and I was like, excuse me, Korea. What do you do?
Basically, that's all you have to say. Excuse me, Korea. You can quote that, Jacob. Excuse me, Korea.
Yeah, I was like that was the biggest shock of the entire show, is that she did not make the entire group, because she was in like literally like top 5 the entire time almost. Like, it was crazy. I'm really excited to see what she does in the future. Coming up next, we have another Playdish trainee.
Kirin-chan!
Yes, my favorite, Ho-Yoon-jin. Like, it's kind of funny, because with her, like, with the, like, audition videos, like, immediately I just, like, chose her. I was like, I like her. I hope she does good. And she did. Because, like, Into the New World, her vocals, like, literally destroyed me. It was so good.
Okay, if she didn't do Into the New World, would she still be your fixed pick?
She'd be one of them still, I think. It'd be between her and the next person, which is Park Hae-yoon, which back to Into the New World for a couple seconds. Like, that song just means a lot to me, just because I'm an SNSD stan, so on, whatever. It's just like, that song is so good and so impactful. But yeah, anyways, next we have Park Hae-yoon, which, again, another really, really great vocalist. And she stood out to me, like, right from the beginning with with the FNC trainees, like right off the bat. Like, FNC, just, they had really, really good vocalists right off the bat with the auditions and stuff. Although what really made her like stand out the most was like how much she was like helping lead and help her teammates, especially the Japanese ones.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I know she's debuting soon. I hope she's the leader, because honestly, she's really good.
Yeah, the new
Red
FNC
Bullet,
group.
Cherry Bullet. Something like that.
Cherry Bullet, that's right. Yeah. I couldn't remember the other word.
I'm really excited for that. So hopefully their debut is really good. All right. So next up we have Wang Yi-dun, and so I was on the fence of adding her and someone else, but I kind of ended up adding her just because I feel like she's on the more like refined side of things, I guess, as far as like her skill and talent and stuff. Although, like, throughout the show, she kind of, like, was a little off-putting to me. She seemed like the, I don't know, like, perfect Chinese princess kind of vibe, you know what I mean?
I mean, great that she really was the picky of the show. Like, if you really think about it, like,
I didn't dislike her. She was just a little too perfect, if that makes sense. Like Andrew said a second ago.
I know what you mean.
Oh, because you don't really get to see much, unless you don't get much screen time unless you're like super like charismatic on camera, or you're fucking up a lot. And she kind of didn't do any of that, honestly. Which is, again, it's not a slight against her. It's just that Mnet's not going to give you a lot of screen time unless you're interesting in that sort of way.
Yep. So next we have Ishian. Yeah, she was also on my list of people who I would have been okay with making Eyes One. Yeah, she. Honestly, it's just based on the fact that I feel like she stood out quite well in pretty much every performance she was in. So she's overall pretty good, like, all-rounder, I guess, in that way. Like, her vocals were alright, her dancing was alright. So yeah. Next we have Nagoen. She was definitely one of the best vocalists. She didn't stand out to me as much as like Yoonjin or Haeyoon did, but I think either way, like, she definitely deserves the, like, I guess, props for, like, you know, just how good her vocals were, I guess, basically.
Yeah, I mean, she's coming from RBW, so if she didn't have good vocals.
Exactly. like same company as Mamamoo, like, you better have good vocals.
There are huge expectations for whatever is going to happen with her, honestly.
Yep. I'm excited to see what group they put her in. I hope they come out with something. And I hope it doesn't, like, disappear off the face of the planet like Pop did.
Oh, rip. Or like how Romance doesn't do as much. And again, they've just been really bad
Dude,
with anyone not
Romance
named.
makes me sad. Like she was so good, and then they just started doing ballads.
Yeah, because I think they might just be more interested in doing OSTs and ballads because that's kind of like.
I mean, they're just vocal trainers, anyways.
Yeah, ultimately they're vocal trainers. They don't want to be idols necessarily.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, from here we basically have my J line. So I put Murase Sae, and basically it was a similar reason for Nate. Like she basically she just stands out really well because she's really pretty. She has really good stage presence. She I feel like she just stands out on the stage really well, and that definitely helps a group overall, like especially with the performance side. Next we have Takahashi Juri. She was honestly, like I would have put her in Eyes One. Like if I had to choose,
definitely
like 4 or 5 Japanese members, she easily would have been a lock in there for Eyes One. Shiroma Miru, she is another one that's in the same boat. Like I also would have put her in Eyes One overall. So I was definitely again I was pretty surprised she didn't make it, honestly, because she was pretty popular throughout the show. It seemed like, at least. I
think she seemed popular, but only amongst the actual Produce 48 like contestants. Like she's basically everyone's girl crush. But I don't really know if she ever made it popular amongst like the voting fan base necessarily. So
yeah. Another one is Takeuchi Miyu. For her, like her vocals, like I guess speak for themselves. Like, She was another one of the Japanese trainees that stood out the most to me, so I definitely had to have her on the list. Next we have Gotomoe, which I put her on the list just because I think she showed like the most like clear growth throughout the show among the Japanese Japanese contestants. And honestly, again, I was surprised she didn't make it in Eyes One just because she was really popular throughout the whole show just because of her, like, I guess, growth storyline that was sort of going on through it. I honestly expected her to get in. And then lastly is Iwatate Saho, which I could pretty much just put her on because I like her. So I think she's cute. So there we go.
Just tell them that you like eating crickets or something because Saho's the one.
Yeah, and Andrew, I told Andrew that I liked her, and then he was like, "Oh, she eats crickets." I was like, "Wow, weird flex, but okay."
That was the thing. If you've never watched, for those of you listening, if you've never watched that AK Bingo clip where she it's as punishment, they're supposed to eat like an obento with like rice and. The meat is it's like fried crickets or whatever.
Wasn't it like they specifically had to eat her bento box?
Yeah, she makes it. She shapes the crickets in like the shape of a heart and puts it in the bento. And then like she's like so as weird. as a test, she's like she actually like eats it like straight up and like with like no cringe or whatever whatsoever. Like. She legitimately likes crickets.
They must taste good.
Yeah, I've never tried it, and I don't know if I want to try it. But maybe if we go to Japan, we'll try crickets.
I'm good.
All right. So next we have my vocal subunit, or I guess whatever you call it. Well, only 4 of them in this were actually in the Eyes One group, just because one of them I feel like just shouldn't be. Not because I don't like them, but because like they're in another group. Yeah. Yes. All right. So basically, I just picked like my 5 favorite vocalists that didn't make it in Eyes One. So Park Hae-yoon, again, honestly, she should have been in Eyes One overall, anyways. In my opinion, I think she was easily one of the best vocalists in the show. Ha Eun-jin as well. Like her vocals again were like easily some of the best in the show for me. So again, from here we have the 3 that I guess weren't as obvious for me. Takeuchi Miyu out of the 3 is probably the most go-to. And then I have Nagoon, who we talked about earlier. She had good vocals. RBW. And then Jung Gyuri was my 5th choice. I didn't want her in Eyes One just because I wanted her to go back to From S9 where I guess we're back where she belongs.
We needed to fill out the 9.
Yeah, basically. I'm not here for From S8.
And then they put out their best song ever.
Yeah, they put out their best song.
When she came back.
Yep.
Second best song of the year.
Yep.
All right, that leaves me and my choices. So for my groups, I decided to do main group or I tried to do it around like concept originally. So my main group is basically just kind of trying to be like the girl crush group because I'm never gonna get that with Eyes One. Or we'll see. Again, they proved me wrong with Lavia and Rose. So who knows? Yeah, I wanted this to be more of a girl crush group, so I picked members who'd probably fit more with girl crush. And the vocal group's just obviously just a vocal group straight up. So, starting off, we've got the Giraffe twins. We've got Ikaon and Ho Yunjin. So obviously, I think both of these could have made it in. Or if anything, at least Ikaon, again, like we mentioned, that's probably the biggest travesty. That's probably honestly the biggest travesty in all of Produce 101 history.
In
is
all
Ikaon
of television history.
all of television history.
Yes.
The biggest in all of history.
The biggest upset in all of human history.
Yeah,
history.
definitely. Just her not making it was just nonsense. And I feel like, again, she'd probably be the leader of this group that I'm making here.
Probably,
Yeah, she's a great leader, especially. And I feel like she'd probably sort of set the tone for how I wanted the group to be. I essentially built the group around her ultimately. Obviously, Ho Yun-jin, I love Kirin-chan a lot. And you can't separate those two. They are attached at the hip for the rest of their lives, honestly. Like,
I hope they end up in the same group, honestly. I hope
they have to be.
Both of them.
They have to be in the same group. If they're not in the same group, there's no point. There's honestly no point in them in Pledis doing anything unless they're together, honestly. Because at this point they've been training together.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gon went solo, but I hope she's in a group. I would prefer that.
I want this to
even
be
though
the
she was
con.
already in after school for 3 days.
You know, they need this to be the
3 days.
con.
Seemed that way, at least.
They need this to be like the con of Pledis, basically, just like two amazing like vocalists and performers, just like doing a duo. Like we don't have too many female duos, so it'd just be a really unique sort of thing for them to do.
Only one I can think of is 15 and.
So say
15 and Bulbagun. That's it.
And
Bulbagun, obviously, yeah.
Jacob, come on.
What?
Come on, Jacob.
Oh, Shabbat?
The Arc.
Or the Arc? No, that's Khan.
I know there's a female duet.
Yeah.
Other than what we
favorite,
mentioned,
like,
all right. I literally just
bias
said I want this to be the con of Pledis,
no.
So we're obviously going to mention.
I missed you saying con. Sorry.
Yeah. Con. Anyway, next up we've got Han Cho-on, who again I basically like half of this or almost half of this lineup is people that were in Rumor or that basically I just wanted to reunite the Rumor lineup essentially. That's like half the reason I made this lineup. So like Han Cho-on's in there, obviously great, surprisingly good rapper, a great dancer, again shockingly good vocalist. So she's probably one of the most well-rounded members of this group. To be completely honest, Go Yujin.
Correction for earlier. I said Del Shabbat, I meant Davichi.
I was wondering how you said Del
no,
Shabbat.
I was like, I knew
Shabbat
that's wrong.
It's not
like,
a duet.
it starts with a D. It's Davichi. Yeah.
Davichi, yeah. But Davichi is just like more like ballady as opposed to just like K-pop, if anything. So yeah, Go Yujin. I have to put the 13th Luna girl in here, being the #1 Luna stan of truly Daebak. Yeah, again, I seriously, I could have, like, how would it have been, honestly, if Go Yujin actually got to perform Rumor, honestly? Like, you know how big the song is now. Like,
She
imagine
fits
how
the
big
concept, that's for sure.
Again, they were saying, like, the concept was made for her, essentially. Just, like, she was, like, the one teaching them all the choreography and everything. She had she was the center. She had the choreography down pat. Like,
so I
it's
forget,
such a shame.
why couldn't she do it again?
Because she got eliminated right before the.
Oh, yeah.
She got eliminated, like, which was nonsense. Because I don't like. She was like the last person. She was, I think, yeah. She was one of the ones. She was on the bubble basically, and it was so. Like, she should have made it. She should have at least got to perform Rumor, and it's such a shame that we'll never see it. Next we have Isian again another member of Rumor. But I'll put these two together. Isian and Kim Chi-hoon. They did a really good job with Rumor, and they surprised me a lot just because maybe they weren't on my radar prior to that. But yeah, they did a very good job fitting the concept, especially Kim Chi-hoon because at first, like, sort of, if you were going over the storyline, she was having trouble being the center, just like conveying the sort of image that they wanted out of this, and she did an incredible job, honestly. just sort of bringing the sort of mood that they wanted to the performance. And moving on to my J line, obviously, like when I say Sai might actually be like the most popular one out of, besides like Takeuchi Miyu, out of all of us. Obviously, I'm gonna add her. Like, she stood out in rumor a lot. Super talented. Has her own fashion line, freaking like crazy, like stand talent, man. Like she's crazy talented, honestly. So I have to add her. Tamago, I have to add Takahashi Juri, because again she should have totally made, with how popular she was. I'm still shocked. I'm still so shocked she didn't make the final lineup, because again, I feel like she definitely had a lot of Korean fans. Definitely, just like when you're getting nicknames as one of like the 48 group members, that means you're popular. Like you're definitely getting the screen time to justify it as well. So, love Juri, obviously not as much as Aubrey loves Juri, but she definitely deserved to be in the group. Shiroma Miru, she's probably my favorite member of NMB48, honestly, right now, with Sayane leaving, and obviously, like she's definitely like the visual of the group. Just like freaking, her eyes just are straight up anime eyes, like not even joking. If you look at pictures of Shiroma Miru, they're just like obnoxiously huge, and she's obviously, if we're wondering how this group's gonna get funding, she's apparently her parents are her dad's filthy stinking rich. She's like a princess, so her dad's gonna like fund the whole thing, and they're gonna get amazing comebacks, and they're never gonna have to worry about cutting back for the group. Like, yeah, she's perfect for this group.
She's an heiress.
Yeah, she's an Ojo-sama, literally. She's straight up an Ojo-sama from anime. We have Kojima Mako. Again, I felt like she was so under the radar. I love Koji Mako so much. Just really fun personality. She did a really good job of during the hand clap performance, just as dancing. Again, like she was really just proving that the 48 group members could actually dance. And she had a coupling song on one of the most recent. She had a coupling song on Sentimental Train, where she did a really good dance number as well. So again, I think she could bring that aspect to it. Matsui Jurina. Obviously, I think Jurina has to be like my overall favorite member of 48 group at this point. So honestly, I have to add her.
I might have had her in there if we had got to see her more.
Yeah, basically. that's the biggest shame, honestly, just because I felt like when we're talking about stage presence, she has like she's probably one of the most stage present, like period, like Korean, Japanese, like whatever, like of all. So yeah, it was such a shame that she had to drop out, honestly, because I would have loved to. She would have made that final group, honestly. There's no way that Jurina wasn't making that final group for better or worse, honestly. Yeah, it sucks obviously that she didn't make it because of her health conditions, but definitely like she won me over as a fan immediately. And the last choice, technically they weren't in
cheating.
There's no technicality.
It's not cheating.
They just weren't.
No. I said 48 group members are eligible, but you guys don't care enough about 48 group to actually have no people that aren't in Produce 48. So the last member of this group would be Yamamoto Sayaka. I've explained this a lot before, where basically she's a huge K-pop fan, literally studied Korean, or like knows or tried to learn Korean just so she could understand K-pop songs better. Literally, if she wasn't graduating this year, she would have been on the show. Honestly, she would have been on the show, and I would have done my best to rig the votes so hard for her to make it. Again, I feel like she would have appealed because she's a singer-songwriter. She does all of her music herself. She's amazing. She's amazing at guitar, has an amazing voice. She can do girl crush concepts. She can do like acoustic ballad songs, has an amazing voice. Like she's easily, like, she's not just an idol, like she's basically like she's like the, I don't know if I were to make comparisons, she's like the Zico of like 48 group, basically, in just terms of like incredible like amounts of talent that she has. And yeah, being an idol is almost kind of holding her back to some degree, just because like her solo stuff's just incredible. So I would have loved to see her like do K-pop or just be on the show. Just like that's like my wildest, like that's like my wildest dream, just to see her compete on it, and like just to see how it would have been. And she has the popularity too. Like she was before she bowed out of Sosenkyo, she was hitting top 12 like consistently. Like she had the popularity in it, and now that she's graduating again, we've kind of have like a bit of a power vacuum when it comes to NMB48. But so we'll see. But yeah, she would have made it. She would have been my favorite member had she been on Produce 48. My vocal group, which I decided to make like completely different members because I didn't think everyone necessarily fit the concept. I'll start off with Park Hae-yoon, again, really popular member, and I really can't wait for the FNC group, honestly. I really can't wait. It's going to be one of the first groups to debut with members that were on Produce 48. Not going. Obviously, the Hae-yoon and Go-on, like they're bonded for life. They're going to be trading high notes, and everyone's going to like pit them together until the end of eternity, because that's literally the only storyline that they had in Produce 48, just them going back and forth with high notes. Jung Gyuri, because Jung Gyuri is literally my bias in From Is 9 now. I think at this point, like, she'd probably be my bias in this group, honestly, just because I'm glad that
I can't choose a bias in From Is. I keep choosing one
no,
and then
no,
I get instantly.
I mean, granted, it was in From Is 8, it was Jiwon, just because I love Jiwon. But now it's 100% it's Giddy, but I'm just really glad that she's definitely starting to prove, or she's starting to shed the sort of, oh my god, she messed up the peekaboo high note sort of thing. And I think, like, yeah, I don't really get that.
That was so overblown. Like, if they didn't play it 5 times in a row, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, because for those that haven't been following From Is post or Gyuri post ProduceCast, like, her vocals on Love Bomb are incredible. Like, again, she's one of their best singers as well. So again, she did not deserve that reputation whatsoever, and I think she could have a chance to prove that. And essentially, for this vocal group, I'm just trying to reunite everyone that was on The Truth Untold, because that was just probably one of the best vocal performances. So obviously that includes Takeuchi Miyu. You're gonna get a singer-songwriter again, just incredible vocalist, someone that can produce your songs, like technically as well. So she's incredible. Miyazaki Miho, again, just super underrated vocalist. Again, I feel like if it wasn't for her hitting number 1 before the finale, I think there was a good chance she could have made the group. And again, she has the popularity with the Japanese fans as well. And Iwatate Saho, again, man, it sucked that she didn't really get too much of a chance to prove herself as a vocalist, because I thought she was good. It's just like, again, her big thing was with when she was on High Tension, she just didn't stand out as much, unfortunately. But I still think she was a good vocalist, and yeah, she definitely proved it on Truth Untold. So yep, that's the vocal group. It would just be a completely separate group. I did make a tiny like third group, but I didn't. I'll just literally it was just Wang Yidon. It was just a visual group of Wang Yidon, Kim Choyeon, Eagle Eyes. Oh
god, so intense.
Murakawa Vivian, just because she's literally like, Murakawa Vivian just has permanent like puppy dog face, so I have to put, she's a visual. And non-Produce 48 member Ogedo Yuka, who is literally like the visual of NGT 48 and basically like all of 48 group at this point. So yeah, that wraps up our lists. Please let us know what you think of our lineups, and you're more than welcome to make your own fantasy Produce 48 lineups in the comments below. So yeah, that'll do it for ProduceCast episode 7. It's just 2 topics today. I don't know. Again, probably the next time we'll be back is for whenever the post 101 disbandment topic, unless Eyes One's like, surprise, we have a repackage or something like that. Yeah, that's probably the next time we're gonna go for ProduceCast. In the meantime, you're more than welcome to check out the Daebak Cast, which is our main podcast where we talk about all things K-pop and Korean culture, and we do more album reviews like we did with 101, but with other groups. From time to time, we'll cover Luna, we'll cover Card if they ever release music again.
It has been a while, actually. Wow.
Yeah, if you really think
we
of
didn't
it.
get a fall release. Where was our?
They're
fall
too
card?
busy. They're too busy touring South America. They're too busy in South America. So
yeah.
So yeah.
BM
one
released a
day
song
I'll-
apparently recently. I didn't listen to it yet though.
Oh yeah. One day we'll review season 1. I'll get you guys to finally watch it.
Yeah, when we have time, we'll do season 1. Obviously, like in April, we'll see if we end up doing the boy group. Obviously, that's good. Our plans to go visit Korea, and obviously Jacob's going to be there. Might throw that in a bit of whack, but if anything, that could literally mean we end up there's by some magic.
There's
like,
no way.
No,
No
you
way.
could do it. We could do
There's
it.
like 3,000 people that get to go to those things.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. I'd love to go attend one of the like the concept evaluations. Like it'd fall right around that time too, so that'd be a crazy experience. And
That would actually be crazy.
like if anyone that watches this podcast like has like any
"Hey,
connection straight up,
look at those foreigners in the audience. Where are they from?"
and it's like like you see us like with the voting thing or whatever, just like that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be the dream. So
We gotta have
definitely,
like a huge sign. Subscribe to Truly Day.
yeah, I don't think you can bring. I know you can't bring signs, but all right, yeah. So we'd have to make like a ProduceCast like sign or whatever, and yeah. So I'm excited for that if we end up getting to witness any of that in person. So
Yep.
yeah, that'll do it for ProduceCast episode 7. I hope it was a good one, and until next time, good night and oyasumi.
Robbingly,
Oyasumi
oyasumi
nasai.
Robbingly
nasai.
oyasume.
Good night.
Throbbingly.
Bye bye.
Annyeong. Yena's rap is just
Yes,
so
forgot to
hard.
mention that.
It's
I love it.
so good.
Imagine
Like,
if Yena
yeah.
doesn't make this group. Honestly, imagine.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had it. Yeah, like it's just so good.
I was mentioning. I'll let you finish, but
No, go ahead.
okay. Well, about Yena, like I was watching.